Alright, Victor here again, RestoreMercedes.com. This is another video for Steve in California. Okay, so I'm here at the dead end on my street here because I actually was working on this car, testing it out for about a couple of hours by now. The reason I'm here is that because it blew so much smoke I couldn't see behind me. There's a ridiculous amount of smoke. At this point it is next to nothing. The smoke is pretty much gone. There's a little bit still, obviously, because it was really bad. I had to sit over here for quite a little bit because I had to I drove this car on like off Main Avenue, small streets. I basically covered them streets with smoke. It was terrible. So as you can see right now, it's pretty clean. The smoke is usually visible on the black background, and this is pretty clean. I mean, I have to say, man, it was bad. So that's why I'm here, because the wind blows this way toward the water, and basically when the smoke was less and less, I finally could actually drive it up and down the street. But I had to fill it up a little bit. I put in like 40 bucks of fuel, and the gauge is up there because I need fuel. Now, temperature, working temperature, it's up there, and the readings. Let's take a look at what we have here, because after fully warmed engine, readings might change. I also reset adaptation values because they were like up there when all the sensors were shorting out. Now the engine runs very good, pretty much as they all run, nice and smooth, like a sewing machine, and that's how we like it. So let's take a look at the readings after the adaptations reset. So when adaptations were reset, we have our injection timing of 2.6, 2.7, 13, 14, 15. This is right, and 1.5 volts. This is usually what I always see on V12s when they run good. This is about the readings. This is how my V12 runs, how my customers' V12s run. About this reading is what I see. On fully warmed engine, this is what I see. 1.5, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there, 2.5, 2.7. This is about pretty good, actually. I mean, I'm pretty happy. Adaptations will have to be reset and relearned, but at this point, we just want to see the general idea. Now, here we see LH1, because adaptations were reset. We see our on-off ratio being 33. This is low, but again, because of adaptations, they're at 0. And LH2, we're looking at the same about the same on-off ratio. Oxygen sensor, as you can see, reads well from high to low. Very, very nice. So it didn't burn. Well, that's a good thing. And this is nice. And adaptations, as you can see now, they're at 0. I don't know, I'll see if I can. The registration's expired on this car, so I don't really want to drive it too much. It needs to be driven, but usually it adapts itself, but ideally you want to drive it. Unfortunately, we don't have registration. Now this valve is not working. Okay, here, I just tapped on it, it started. Good, okay. So, yeah, okay, perfect. All right, let it be. Regeneration valve. Okay, this one, and then the one on the other side. That one was working before. I remember touching it. I feel pulsation on it. This one was like stuck. I just hit it, and it actually started working. Sometimes they get jammed up. So, that is a good thing. And no fuel safety shut off. Reception from computers, nothing interesting here. So, at this point, I'm pretty happy with the result. I guess I'll keep it running for a little bit, a little longer, and maybe I even drive it through the small streets. I'll see if I can do adaptations on it, because it's difficult to do adaptations because of the you got to keep the car in gear, and it's like I have to go up and down the strip and with expired registration. it's not really a great idea. So over here I'm on a dead end, so nobody bothers me here. Okay, so I'm going to accelerate right now so you can see that it's not going crazy here with smoke. Before, if I would just look behind me, after the acceleration there was like a cloud of smoke. And as you can see right now, this is great. There is still a little bit, yes, I mean there's a little bit of a smoke and smell, but we just rev the engine and it's pretty good. Like I said, smoke was like whitish and it was very visible against black background. Right now it's clear, so I think we did it. One thing that I do not like very much, very much, I do not like this. Let me show you real quick. But that could have been residual. You see here, it's all like sort of black. And I already scooped up whatever was there. It was like a drop. It looked like oil to me. That I don't like. But again, it could have been because we have so much fuel entering the engine. It could have mixed with oil and it was blown by and stuff. So you have to change oil anyway after this. And also, there is a little bit more smoke coming out from here. As you can see, this is the crankshaft basically. I mean crankshaft, the whole engine. There is quite some smoke coming up from here. My prediction is, what I'm thinking about this is that either there is moisture in the oil because the car may be set for a while, or because it was flooding with fuel. It blew by the cylinders, by rings, by piston rings. Basically all this extra fuel was banging in the cylinder and it would just be pushed past the rings into the oil pan, and in the crankcase it mixed with fuel, unburned fuel mixed with oil, and now basically it's vaporizing. Therefore we have some smoke. Usually when you open the cap up, there is no smoke. Really, it's no smoke. Yes, it's a given that, you know, this piping over here is not working. Most likely it's blown, you know, the usual piece that's in the middle under the intake is probably blown. It's not basically extracting these fumes from crankcase, because the PCV system is down there and it runs, splits in the back and it goes under the throttle body, so it gets reburned, the fumes. And then you got another system here which is sort of also like a PCV system. There's oil separator in this on this side and the valve cover, and it separates oil from fumes, and it also gets reburned directly into the intake manifold. There is one connection down right there, this big pipe, and the second one is obviously right here. So it like gets into one intake manifold on one end, I mean one bank, and this is the secondary bank. So that's another thing. There is a little bit of oil on this tube, yes, but there will be some oil, of course. I mean, there might be some, you know, some oil separator issue, but it's not critical. I mean, I don't see it being super critical. Car has some miles to it, so obviously there will be some. To me, personally, I'm pretty happy with this. I was very skeptical when I got this car because it was so much smoke, and that oil on the junction there was very bad to see. But as it warmed up with proper readings, I see that it's actually pretty good. I didn't make the video, unfortunately, with all the smoke that was coming out. Now the power is there, acceleration is fine, transmission engagement is fine, and overall everything seems good to me. There is banging from rear suspension, either the strut mount on the bottom or knuckle bushing is bad. I don't know which side, so I just hear it banging. There is some corrosion going on heater control valve here. It would have been a good idea to do something with it. That's that. Fan clutch is really nice. Very smooth activation, on off. That's actually one of the best ones I've seen. I don't know if it's original or not, but very smooth, very nice. What else? Front suspension seems to be okay. The car doesn't pull left or right. Everything seems good. Door locks don't work. Very annoying. Because when you lock the car, I have to lock it all around. The bushings on the steering linkage, they're good too. That's also a good thing. Somebody really looked after this car, I have to say. Well, the speaker grill is popped, broken, unfortunately. I just had a customer with this problem. I basically just took the whole panel off. I warmed this whole area up. I sort of moved these cracked portions back in their locations, and then I put tiny little drops of glue on the inside just to keep them together, because this kind of looks kind of bad. And you don't really want to do it from up front here, because you can crack it more. You want to do it from behind, and you also have to warm this up, because if it's cold then it's gonna crack. Now, so this thing I put back together, this seems good. What else? Nothing really else. Suspension works. The extenders do work as well. The door kind of like off a little bit, I feel. You can see a little bit of like wear, I would rather say. And then when you close it, there is a little bit sort of it hits something a little bit, kind of like, but it's not, again, it's not super critical. The trunk works up and down very nice. The suction is good. These are all the parts that were in the car when I got it, so the suction is very nice. I really like that. Timing is pretty much okay. Timing is on point. Rear antennas come up and down. Suspension is a little bit on the low side, but you're better off having it on the low than on the high, so you have less pressure. Automatic windows work. Kind of same thing on this door. Right, so that's about that. So yeah, okay, again, I guess it's a long video, so I'm gonna cut it quits again, and I think maybe I'll put the panels back on just to keep it together, because there will be no more need to ever go in the areas for the wires, unless you really do something behind the engine, then you remove them. But right now I'm okay. I'll try to see if I can do adaptations on this. If I may, that would be great. Sometimes it does it itself when the car just sits for a little bit, and you're gonna see the adaptation on idle at least change, so that's good. But again, it is what it is. Right now we are where we are. It's a huge progress, and the readings remain the same, as you can see. I usually just test on idle. Well, you can just give it a little blimp. This cable is a little too tight, by the way. Gotta loosen it up slightly. Just a hair, if I may. Being too tight is not a good thing. You can get into limp mode. Yeah, something just about this. This is about right. See, this one has to be just slightly loose. This seems to be set okay. This is a kick down, so that is done by your liking, how much and how fast you want kick down to happen. So I'll give it a little blimp of acceleration. Not supposed to do it, but as you saw, mass airflow sensor reading jumps, reads it well now. That is the one that didn't work at all, and LH1 worked kind of. Oof, 104. As you see, acceleration, deceleration, the injection timing will change. That's normal. So I should actually accelerate from inside the vehicle versus outside the vehicle. Let's see. Because I will not go into limp mode during acceleration. Okay, so this is LH1. See, readout comes. We got 3,000, 4,000 RPM. That's great. This is how it's supposed to be. So this is great. I mean, I see fun. I mean, to me, it's perfect. That's LH2. That's the one that was dead all along. It was like terrible. Smoke, no smoke. Now, when this happens, when these mass airflow sensors go bad and you have the smoke, it's a very risky situation because the engine can get damaged, because you're basically washing off your oil from cylinder walls, plus you mix an oil, you fix fuel with oil, then unburnt oil enters your exhaust, melts catalytic converters, they get red hot, very bad. So 4,000 RPM right away, very nice, jumps up, you know, the acceleration is great. But again, adaptations are off. All right, maybe I'll do adaptations now, we'll see. It's still early, so it shouldn't be any kind of anybody on the strip. All right, so this is all for now. This is Victor at RestoreMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.